It was a quiet evening on Earth, the sky painted in shades of orange and purple. Children played in the streets, dogs barked, and life felt peaceful. But above the clouds, something bright was moving. A streak of silver light cutting through the sunset like a falling star. People in the small town looked up in wonder, pointing at the strange object in the sky. It wasn't a meteor. It moved too slow, too controlled. Within moments, the light vanished behind the forest that surrounded the edge of the town. Miles away, a woman named Serenia stepped out of her ship, her skin faintly blue, her eyes glowing like the moons of her homeworld. She looked around at the trees and the quiet earth air. She had finally arrived. Serenia was no ordinary traveler. She was a princess of Letheria, born among the stars, raised under the rule of a powerful empire, and now standing on a planet far from her kind. She came to Earth for one reason: to find her promised partner, a human man who once saved her people. Years ago, during the war between Letheria and the Core Dominion, a human soldier named Captain Daniel Reed had risked his life to protect a Letherian transport ship. Serenia had been on that ship. She never forgot his bravery. In gratitude, her father signed a peace contract that included an old Letherian tradition, a marriage bond between families, a symbolic union between species. Serenia held the old data crystal in her hand, the contract shining faintly. "I will honor our promise," she whispered, her voice soft but filled with resolve. She walked through the forest, following the map she had prepared. The night insects sang around her and the wind carried the smell of rain. When she reached a small house at the edge of the town, she stopped. There was light inside, laughter, warmth. Through the window she saw Daniel, older now, his hair touched with gray. Sitting with a woman and 2 children, he was smiling, holding one of the kids in his arms. Serenia's heart tightened. She felt something strange, confusion, sadness, something she could not name. She stepped closer and knocked softly on the door. The laughter inside stopped. The door opened. Daniel stood there, his eyes widened as he saw her. It took him a moment to speak. "Serenia," he said quietly. "Is it really you?" She nodded. "I have come to fulfill our bond," she said simply. "I have come to claim my human." Behind Daniel, his wife appeared, holding the youngest child close, her face pale with shock. "Who is she?" she whispered. Daniel rubbed his forehead. "It's complicated," he said, turning back to Serenia. "That agreement, it wasn't meant to be real, it was diplomacy, nothing more." Serenia didn't understand. "You gave your word," she said softly, "and Letherians never break a promise." Rain began to fall, drops shining on her skin. The children peeked from behind their mother, their eyes wide with curiosity. The little boy whispered, "Daddy, is that a fairy?" The girl giggled. "She's pretty," she said. "Why is she sad?" Serenia turned her gaze toward them, and for the first time since leaving her world, she smiled, a small, fragile smile. Daniel stepped outside, closing the door behind him. "You shouldn't have come," he said. "My life is different now. I have a family. I can't be what you came for." She looked down, the rain dripping from her hair. "Then the promise was only a lie," she whispered. "No," Daniel said quietly. "It was real to me, but that was long ago." She nodded slowly, her heart heavy. "On my world, a bond means eternity," she said. "But maybe your kind measures eternity differently." She turned to leave, her silver cloak dragging in the mud, her ship's signal beacon blinking faintly in the distance. As she walked away, thunder rumbled, and she whispered to herself, "Perhaps I was foolish to believe in destiny." Then she felt a small hand touch hers. She turned and saw the little girl standing in the rain, her hair soaked, her smile innocent. "Don't go," the girl said softly. "You look lonely. Daddy says people who help others are heroes. Did you help him?" Serenia knelt down, her glowing eyes gentle. "Yes," she said. "Once long ago." "Then you're part of our story too," the girl said, holding her hand tighter. From the doorway, Daniel's wife called out, her voice uncertain but kind. "You can come in just until the storm passes." For a moment, Serenia hesitated. Then she nodded and followed the child inside. The warmth of the house surrounded her, the smell of food, the laughter, the sound of human life. She sat quietly near the fire, watching the family talk and move. Every small thing felt so alive, so human, so different from her cold palace of glass and steel. Daniel looked at her across the room, guilt in his eyes, but also gratitude. "You saved me once," he said quietly. "Maybe tonight I can return the favor." Outside, lightning flashed across the sky, and somewhere far above, deep in the dark of space, something ancient stirred. A Letherian warship awakening from its slumber, its sensors locking on Earth's signal. And as the thunder rolled, Serenia looked out the window, her reflection shimmering against the glass. "Maybe," she whispered. "The universe has other plans." The storm raged through the night, rain tapping against the windows like tiny drums. Lightning flashed over the quiet town. Inside Daniel's house, the fire burned soft and warm, and for the first time in years, something from beyond the stars sat quietly among them. Serenia sat near the fireplace, her silver cloak drying beside her. She watched the flames with wide, curious eyes. Every sound, every shadow felt new to her. The warmth of the home felt strange. She had lived in palaces of crystal and light, but they had never felt like this. Daniel's wife, Claire, placed a cup of tea in front of her. Unsure if she would even drink it, Serenia looked at the cup, steam rising from it. "This is for me," she asked softly. Claire nodded. "It will help you warm up." Serenia studied the cup like an alien artifact, then took a slow sip. Her eyes widened. "It tastes alive," she said, and the children laughed. For a moment the tension melted away. Claire smiled. The children sat near Serenia, asking questions faster than she could answer. "Do you live on a spaceship? Do you eat food? Can you fly?" She tried to answer them all, her voice calm and gentle. "Yes, I live among the stars. Yes, we eat, but not like you. And no, I cannot fly, not without help." Daniel sat in silence, watching from the table. His thoughts heavy. The past had returned in the form of a promise he never expected to keep. Later that night, as the storm softened, Daniel spoke quietly. "You shouldn't have come." Serenia looked at him, her eyes glowing faintly blue. "Your message reached my world. Your bravery saved thousands. My father promised your bloodline a bond of peace. I was chosen to honor it." Daniel sighed. "That was years ago, Serenia. Humanity moved on." She tilted her head. "You speak as if time erases honor." Claire listened from the kitchen, her heart torn between confusion and sympathy. The woman before her didn't seem dangerous, only lost. The children had fallen asleep on the couch, the boy clutching one of Serenia's glowing bracelets. She didn't take it back, she just smiled. "Your children are kind," Serenia said. "They see without fear." Claire nodded slowly. "Children don't carry hate, they just see hearts." Outside, thunder rolled again, far away in the sky. The faint outline of something vast flickered behind the clouds, unseen by human eyes. Later, when the house grew quiet, Serenia stood by the window, watching the rain, the reflection of Earth's moon shimmering in her eyes. She whispered to herself, "So fragile, yet so beautiful." Daniel approached, his voice low. "You came all this way for a promise." "Yes," she said. "Letherians believe in keeping words given under the stars. And if I tell you, I can't be that promise?" he asked. She looked at him with sadness. "Then I stay not for a bond, but for understanding. I wish to know why humans love so fiercely and forget so easily." He didn't answer. He only looked down, ashamed. From the corner of the room, a small flicker of light appeared on Serenia's wristband. A signal, soft but urgent. She stepped outside quietly, activating the device. A holographic image of an alien admiral appeared, his expression stern. "Princess Serenia," the hologram said. "You have been missing for 12 planetary cycles. The Emperor demands your return immediately." "I am not ready," she replied. Earth is not what I expected. Your delay violates Imperial command, the Admiral said coldly. If you will not return with your chosen mate, the Emperor will come for you. The message ended with static. The night grew heavier. Serenia turned off the beacon, unaware that Daniel had seen the faint glow from the doorway. Who was that? He asked sharply. She turned slowly. My people, she said. They do not understand peace, only power. Daniel's expression hardened. You brought them here. She shook her head. Not yet. But they will come. He stepped closer. His voice filled with fear and anger. My family, my children. If your people come here, they'll destroy everything. Serenia's voice trembled for the first time. I will not let them. I promise. The wind howled through the open door. Lightning flashed again, and in the distance something vast moved between the clouds. Inside, Claire stood behind Daniel, her eyes full of questions. What's happening? She asked. Serenia looked at her, her voice quiet but certain. War may be coming. Because of me. The children stirred in their sleep, unaware of the storm building above. Daniel closed the door slowly, his jaw tight. Then you'd better make sure it doesn't reach them. Serenia looked back at the sky, her eyes glowing brighter. If my father sends his fleet, she whispered, he will learn that humans are not as fragile as he thinks. And as the last thunder rolled across the heavens, far beyond the clouds, the first Lithirian warship slipped into Earth's orbit. Silent and waiting, dawn came slowly over the town, golden light touching wet streets and quiet roofs. Inside Daniel's house, everything looked peaceful. But the air felt heavy. Serenia had not slept. She sat near the window watching clouds drift across the sky, her heart full of worry. She knew what that signal from her father meant. War was coming. Daniel walked in holding 2 cups of coffee. He placed one near her. You didn't rest, he said. She shook her head. Lithirian ships are near Earth now, she whispered. My father sent them to bring me home. Daniel's hand tightened around the cup. If they come here, they'll see Earth as weak. She looked at him. They will test you. They always test what they fear. Outside, the children played in the yard, their laughter soft. Unaware of the danger above them, Claire watched them through the window, her eyes full of questions she could not ask. High above the planet, invisible to human eyes, the first Lithirian warship drifted into orbit. Dark and silent, its hull covered with glowing runes, thousands of soldiers waited for orders. Inside the command deck, Admiral Cavor, Serenia's uncle, spoke to his crew. Locate the princess, bring her and her chosen human before the Emperor, he said coldly. If Earth resists, burn their skies. Serenia felt a deep tremor inside her, a memory from childhood. Her uncle's voice always brought fear. She turned to Daniel. They will come for me, but I cannot let them harm your family. Daniel shook his head. You're not fighting this alone. That night the family gathered around the dinner table. No one spoke much. Only the ticking of the old clock filled the silence. The children could feel something was wrong. Are you leaving? The little girl asked. Looking at Serenia, Serenia smiled gently. Not yet, she said. I still have something to protect later. When everyone slept, she went outside, opened her wrist communicator, and sent a message to the fleet. This is Princess Serenia of Lithyria, she said. I surrender myself if you leave this planet unharmed. Her words echoed through space. Reaching Admiral Cavor, he smiled. Prepare the retrieval team, he said. We will take her and the human before dawn. Serenia walked quietly toward the forest where her ship waited. She didn't want to wake the family, but a soft voice stopped her. Where are you going? Daniel asked from the porch. She turned, rain glistening on her hair. I can end this before it begins, she said. If I go with them, they will not destroy Earth. Daniel stepped closer. They'll destroy you. She looked down. Better me than your world. But then another voice came from behind, the small boy rubbing his eyes. You promised you'd stay, he said. Holding his toy ship, her heart broke a little. She knelt beside him. Sometimes promises hurt, she said softly. But I will come back. Daniel clenched his fists. No, we face them together. Before she could answer, the ground shook. Light filled the sky. A Lithirian landing craft descended behind the forest, trees bending under the force. Soldiers in black armor stepped out. Weapons glowing, Daniel ran inside, shouting for Claire. Get the kids to the basement, he said. grabbing his old rifle from the shelf. Serenia stood her ground as the soldiers approached. Their leader bowed stiffly. "Princess Serenia, by order of the Emperor, you are to return home immediately." "I will go," she said, "but leave these humans in peace." The leader turned his weapon toward Daniel. "The human comes too." Serenia moved fast, stepping between them, her voice sharp. "No," she said. "I go alone." Daniel raised his rifle, his eyes steady. "You'll have to go through me first." The aliens hesitated, unused to such defiance from a species they considered weak. Suddenly a new light appeared in the sky. Another ship descending, smaller, faster. It was not Litherian. It bore the insignia of the Earth Defense Command. The alien soldiers turned their heads as missiles streaked across the clouds. Explosions rocked the field, smoke rising into the dawn. Serenia grabbed Daniel's arm. "Run," she said, pulling him toward the trees. Behind them, fire and metal fell from the sky. The battle had begun, humans and aliens fighting in the same air. From above, Admiral Kavor watched the chaos with fury. "So the humans resist," he said. "Then we show them true power." The giant warship began charging its main weapon. A beam capable of burning cities in seconds. Serenia looked up, her heart racing. "He's going to strike the planet," she said. Daniel turned to her. "Then stop him," she nodded slowly. "I need to reach his ship. It's the only way." Claire's voice came from behind. "You'll die up there," Serenia looked at her. "If I don't, you all will." She pressed her wrist device, and her small personal shuttle appeared from the forest. Glowing blue before entering, she turned to the children. "You once said I looked lonely," she whispered. "Now I know I was, but not anymore." She smiled one last time, and the shuttle lifted into the air, disappearing into the clouds. As Daniel watched her vanish, he whispered, "Come back to us." Far above, the Litherian fleet opened fire. Lightning crossed the heavens, and Earth's first war among the stars had begun. The sky burned red as the Litherian fleet surrounded Earth, giant ships blocking out the stars. Cities went dark. Power grids failed. People looked up in fear as thunder rolled across the heavens. Inside her small shuttle, Serenia flew straight into the storm, her face calm but her heart racing. The communication panel flashed with warnings. Power critical, shields failing. She ignored them all. Behind her, Earth's defense fighters rose into the air. Small and fragile compared to the alien ships, yet they flew with stubborn courage. Daniel watched from the ground as the night sky lit up with fire. Explosions painted clouds in gold and crimson. He could hear the faint rumble of engines above, every heartbeat echoing with hope and fear. On board the Litherian flagship, Admiral Kavor stood before the Emperor's hologram. "The human planet resists," he said. "Our losses are minimal." The Emperor's eyes glowed with cold light. "Then erase their hope," he ordered. "Make the human see his strength is nothing." Serenia's shuttle cut through the chaos. Slipping between destroyers, she activated her stealth system and docked with the main ship. When the doors opened, she stepped out onto the metallic corridor. Soldiers turned their weapons on her, but she raised her hand. A wave of blue energy pulsed from her armor, knocking them aside. She walked straight into the command chamber, her uncle staring in disbelief. "You should have stayed on your dying world," he said. Serenia stood tall. "It will not die today," she said. "Not while I stand," Kavor sneered. "You defy your own blood for them." "They showed me what honor truly means," she said. "Something the Empire has long forgotten." He drew his weapon, a blade of pure plasma. "Then you will share their fate." They fought, the clash of light and sound shaking the walls. Serenia's movements fast, graceful, her every strike filled with purpose. But her uncle was strong, trained in war since birth. He slashed across her armor, sparks flying. She fell to one knee. But before he could finish the strike, a voice echoed through the comms. "Serenia, hold on." It was Daniel. He had stolen a captured alien fighter and was heading toward the flagship. "I'm coming for you." Her eyes widened. "Daniel, no. You can't." "I made a promise too," he said. "You're not dying alone." Outside, the alien fleet opened fire on Daniel's small ship, lasers cutting through the sky. He flew between them, every move wild, impossible, purely human inside the flagship. The Emperor watched through his throne's hologram. "One human pilot against my fleet," he said, laughing. "Pathetic." Serenia rose again, pain burning through her body. "That's what makes him dangerous," she said, and with a final surge of energy, she struck her uncle's blade aside and pressed her hand to the ship's control crystal. Her energy linked with the ship, blue light spreading through every circuit. She connected to the dreadnought's core, and suddenly the entire vessel responded to her will. Daniel's fighter reached the dreadnought's hull. He crashed through an open bay, jumping out just as the ship began to tremble. He ran through the corridors, shouting her name. He found her standing before the glowing control core. Her armor cracked, her hands glowing bright. "Serenia," he shouted. "What are you doing?" "I'm ending this," she said, her voice soft. "The ship listens to me now, but it will take everything I have." He stepped closer, grabbing her hand. "Then we end it together." Outside, the Earth defense ships regrouped, inspired by the sight of the massive alien flagship turning against its own fleet. The rebels shouted over the radio, "She's fighting for us." Inside the core, light surrounded them both, their hearts synchronized with the energy pulsing through the ship. The weapon that once threatened Earth now aimed upward, firing at the Emperor's command vessel. The explosion was blinding, a wave of light rippling across the stars. The Emperor's ship shattered, the fleet broke apart in confusion. Down on Earth, people cheered, tears mixing with rain. Humanity had survived, not through strength but through spirit. In the silence that followed, Daniel opened his eyes. The chamber filled with smoke and light. Serenia was still standing, her hand glowing faintly. "It's over," he whispered. She smiled weakly. "No, Daniel. It's just beginning." Her energy faded, the ship falling slowly toward Earth's atmosphere. Daniel grabbed her, pulling her toward the escape pod. They launched seconds before the dreadnought exploded above the clouds. Flames streaked across the sky as the two figures fell back to the world they had saved. The humans below watched in awe, believing they had seen angels. When the pod landed near the fields, Daniel crawled out, coughing. Serenia lay beside him, her eyes half open. "You kept your promise," she said softly. He took her hand. "So did you," far above. The last pieces of the Litharian fleet retreated into the darkness, broken, scattered, defeated by the will of one human and one alien who stood together. As dawn rose again, the children ran across the grass, shouting, "They're back," their laughter filling the air. Serenia smiled as they hugged her, their small arms warm and real. For the first time, she felt she belonged to something greater than a world. She belonged to a family, and as the sun climbed higher, her eyes turned toward the stars, knowing her father would return someday. But this time Earth would be ready, because the human spirit had awakened, and nothing in the galaxy could stop it now. Morning light spread across the Earth like a promise, golden rays touching the fields, the rivers, and the cities that had survived the night of fire. Smoke rose gently from distant hills, but the air carried peace instead of fear. Serenia opened her eyes to the warmth of sunlight. The soft hum of Earth's breeze touched her face. She was alive, bruised but alive. Beside her sat Daniel, his arm in a sling, his eyes fixed on the horizon. "You made it," he said with a tired smile. She looked at him, her voice quiet. "We made it." In the distance, military trucks moved across the fields, rescue teams searching for survivors. Children ran through the grass waving flags. They didn't know the full story, but they knew humanity had won something greater than war. News of the battle spread quickly. Around the world, people spoke of the mysterious blue-skinned woman who turned the enemy's weapon against itself. They called her the Star Savior. They called him the human who fought the sky. Daniel looked at Serenia as she watched the children play. "You changed everything," he said. She shook her head gently. "No, I only reminded your world of what it already was." Later, they stood near the remains of her ship, the hull cracked but glowing faintly. Inside lay fragments of alien technology, maps of distant stars, and messages from the Litharian Empire. "The Emperor won't stay silent," Daniel said. "He'll come back for revenge." Serenia nodded slowly. "He will come, but next time he will face not one human, but billions." She looked up at the sky, eyes glowing with hope. "The human spirit cannot be conquered. It can only grow." That evening the town gathered. People lit lanterns that floated into the night, each one carrying prayers and names of the brave. Daniel stood among them, holding one lantern with his children. Serenia beside him, her cloak replaced by a simple dress. Claire, his wife, walked toward them, her face soft. "You saved us all," she said, looking at Serenia. "Thank you," Serenia smiled. "It was your kindness that saved me first." They stood together as the lanterns rose higher. Small lights joining the stars, the sky glowing with a mix of human dreams and alien colors. But high above, far beyond the moon, something ancient stirred. Inside the ruins of the Emperor's flagship, faint lights flickered again. His voice whispered through static, "The game is not over, my daughter, down on Earth." Serenia turned suddenly, feeling the echo through her heart. Daniel noticed. "Mom, what is it?" he asked. She hesitated. "The stars are never silent for long," she said softly. "There is always another storm." Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then we'll face it together." Days passed, the world began to rebuild. Nations worked side by side for the first time in history. Scientists studied the remains of the Letherian ships, unlocking new energy and medicine. Humanity stepped into a new era of unity and strength. In a quiet corner of the rebuilt town, Serenia planted strange glowing seeds in the soil. The children helped her water them. "What are these?" the boy asked. "They are memory flowers," she said with a smile. "They bloom in the light of peace. At night, those flowers glowed softly, painting the fields with blue and gold light. Travelers who passed by called it the Garden of Two Worlds. Every morning, Serenia would stand there, her gaze fixed on the rising sun. "This is what we fought for," she would whisper. "Not power, not control, but life." Daniel joined her one morning, handing her a cup of tea. "So what now?" he asked. She smiled, her eyes reflecting the light of dawn. "Now, we wait for the stars to call again," he laughed. "You really believe they will?" She nodded. "Always, because adventure never ends, it only sleeps." The children ran past them, their laughter filling the air. The sky shone bright, and for a moment, the universe itself seemed to listen. Far beyond the clouds, the remnants of the Letherian fleet drifted in silence. One by one, their systems flickered back to life. A single message transmitted through deep space: humanity has awakened. And on Earth, the light of the new dawn continued to grow, stronger, brighter, endless.